Welcome back. So last year I made a video on this topic. I think it was called like the top 10 most popular sprint car drivers in the country. And there wasn't really any numbers to back up that top 10. Me going to the races the last couple of years as the high limit announcer and the World of Outlaws pit reporter, it just kind of gave me an idea of who could be maybe the top 10 drivers as far as popularity goes. I had Danny Dietrich on that list. I had Dominic Scelzi on that list. A couple other guys, obviously, but now that I've got some numbers put together here, I was definitely a little bit off. And there's definitely one big surprise, I feel like, in this video that I was not expecting to be inside the top 10. And when it comes to popularity, the only way that you can really, gauge it is by looking at social media following. And that is exactly what I have done here today. The black number here is the total amount of followers they have among the three big social media platforms: Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I did not do TikTok. I don't really do TikTok. I have one. I've never posted anything on there. And I can't imagine that many drivers have TikToks either. So I just kind of left that one off there. We've got the top 10 most popular drivers according to social media following. And there's a couple of criteria. I might forget one here, but definitely no Kyle Larson here. That doesn't count. No Casey Kane. That doesn't count either. These have to be guys that have, they're primarily sprint car racers, and they have been for a long time. Also, what was another one? Also, the driver didn't have one of these big three social media platforms. I did not include them. Like Giovanni Scelzi, he doesn't have an athlete page on Facebook. He only has like a personal page. So he was not included in this list as well. And I'll think of other things as this video goes along. But I did want to make sure to mention a couple of honorable mentions. Over there on the far side of the board, those are the next 5 drivers that just missed out on the top 10. And surprisingly, Tanner Thorson is one of them at 63,000 total followers between the 3 big social media platforms. Right behind him with 61,000 is Danny Dietrich. Brent Marks was just outside of there. He would be 13th on the list at 57,000 followers, make that 58,000 followers. Buddy Kofoid at 57,000, and James McFadden, he is 5th on that honorable mention list at 53,000 followers. So let's get into the top 10 here now. We'll start down here at the bottom. And this one, he's not a national touring driver. He doesn't run with the Outlaws or High Limit. But this one is really not a surprise to me at all to see him in the top. I thought he was going to be higher, to be honest with you. But not a surprise to see Brian Brown in the top 10. He has 32,000 Twitter followers, 33,000 followers on Facebook, and 15,000 followers on Instagram for a grand total of 80,000. Now, of course, it's probably 80,000, 97. I'm not putting every single little, I'm just rounding up or rounding down depending on where they're at. If a guy's at 8,600 followers, I'm going to make him 9,000. Guy's at 8,200, I'm going to put him at 8,000. So I'm rounding up and rounding down here just to make it nice and easy, a nice round number to put here on the board. Now, there is a tie for 9th place with 81,000 followers. And I feel like, to me, they're kind of similar in where they're at in their careers. Maybe you guys could disagree with me on that one. But tied for the 9th position is going to be Tyler Courtney. He has 28,000 Twitter followers, 31,000 Facebook followers, and 22,000 on Instagram. And the guy that he is tied with at 41,000, or make that at 81,000, is the 41 Carson Macedo. So Macedo, 27,000 on Twitter, 26,000 on Facebook, and 28,000 on Instagram. Crazy how close those three are, which, it's just kind of weird how that worked out. But Carson Macedo's been on the Outlaw Tour for close to 7, 8, 9 years. He's won the National Open. He's been a part of some very big races, so no surprise to see him with a good, following here. Tyler Courtney, Kings Royal champion. He was a USAC champion several times over, and so those numbers, no surprise as well for him. They are 9th on the board here at 81,000 followers among sprint car racers. Now, let's go one up from there and go up to 8th position at 89,000 followers, and that is where you'll find Logan Schuchart. 29,000 on Twitter, 33,000 on Facebook, and 27,000 on Instagram for a grand total of 89,000. And I think that one weekend in particular that got him very high up, gained him a lot of followers was, of course, all the press that came along with winning the Eldora Million, the one and only $1 million race in sprint car racing history that paid $1 million out to the winner. And so surely that has helped him out. Also, being on the Outlaw Tour for 10 plus years at this point, he has gained a very, very significant following during that time. And it does seem like he has been ramping up his social media a little bit more here recently, which is obviously a good thing to help build that brand out for Logan Schuchart and the 1S team. Now, up to 7th, and in my opinion, the biggest surprise on the board, bar none. I was not expecting this at all when I was putting this video together, but Brady Bacon is at 7th on the board with 100,000 followers, 31,000 on Twitter, 50,000 on Facebook, and 19,000 on Instagram. Of course, Brady Bacon, one of the most prolific USAC sprint car racers of all time, and a multi-time champion. And I would have to imagine most of his followers have come from the USAC side of things. But obviously now he is basically a full-time wing sprint car racer. And, like I said, I think most of that came from USAC, but still a very, very impressive number there from Brady Bacon at 100,000. According to this video, he is the 7th most popular driver in sprint car race. I think also having the last name Bacon for some reason helps. People love bacon, so maybe that, and he has good merchandise too, which could also maybe work into his favor when it comes to this video as well. So 6th on the board and going up quite a bit from 100,000 to 150,000 total followers. And I don't know, is this one surprising as well? Brad Sweet, is that a surprise? I don't think it is. Brad Sweet, 150,000 followers. He's a 5-time Outlaw champion, a 1-time Highlander Racing champion as well. He's won the Kings Royal. He's won the Knoxville Nationals. All of those things, they're going to help boost up his following. Now, the one thing with Brad Sweet that when you look him up on Twitter, if you were to do your research and check my numbers, the one that might trip you up is Twitter. Now, last year or 2 years ago, Brad Sweet's Twitter account got hacked. That former Twitter account is what I used for this video at 65,000 followers. I think his new one has like less than 10,000, but that old Twitter account, 65,000 followers. Facebook, 42,000. Instagram, 43,000. Of course, Brad Sweet also did run a little bit of NASCAR in his career. He did run USAC. So he has a very wide range of followers that, they follow him. I guess that's what I was trying to get at there. But Brad Sweet, P6 on the board at 150K. Now, we move ourselves into the top 5. And with 154,000, I thought it would be more. I really did think it would be more for Sheldon Haudenschild in the 17, 154K. For Twitter, it's 37,000. For Facebook, it's 71,000. Instagram is 46,000 for Sheldon. And people just love Sheldon. They love the way he drives the car. I think that kids really enjoy the NOS Energy Drink sponsor with all the different paint schemes he's had in Knoxville and all that good stuff, right? And his dominant performances at I-55. Obviously, the name Haudenschild, having his dad be a legend in the sport, I think that certainly helps people wanting to follow him on these 3 platforms as well. And Sheldon does have a very good merchandise side of things as well, which I think, like I said, with Brady Bacon, I think that does help him as well when it comes to getting more followers on these 3 platforms. Now, up to 4th on the board, and I don't know what number to use, guys. I'm just going to use the 15. I don't know what else to put on there. Donnie Schatz, 15. Is he the W now? I don't know. But I'm going to put him on there as the 15. Donnie Schatz, 4th most popular sprint car driver right now. Of course, that was one of the other stipulations I forgot to mention earlier. These are guys that are racing right now. We're not talking about Steve Kinzer. We're not talking about all these other guys that retired now and don't race anymore. We're talking about drivers that are in the sport right now. So Donnie Schatz, 189,000 followers. 47,000 on Twitter, 81,000 on Facebook, and 61,000 on Instagram. Now, I'm not sure how much of those posts and whatnot on those 3 platforms are actually from Donnie Schatz himself. There for a long time, he had a PR person at Tony Stewart Racing that was doing most of the posting. But I think recently maybe it was him when the whole TSR thing went sideways. I think those posts here recently have been him. But still, Donnie Schatz, a 10-time World of Outlaws champion, 11-time Knoxville Nash, 6 times Kings Royal, National Open. He ran, he's ran for so long, 20 plus years, 25 years on the Outlaw Tour. No surprise at all to see Donnie Schatz at 189,000 followers for 4th on the board for most popular sprint car drivers in the country as of right now. Now, moving up to 3rd on the board, and I'm sure many of you saw this one coming as well, and that is where you will find Tanner Holmes. Tanner Holmes with 214,000 followers across these 3 platforms. The one that I think he needs to work on, though, is Twitter. He only has 6,000 Twitter followers as of right now. But what is keeping him afloat in this battle for the top 10 is Facebook. 162,000 followers on Facebook and 46,000 followers on Instagram. and another 70 or 80,000 subscribers on YouTube. I did not include that because not every driver on this board has a YouTube channel, but it's interesting that the top 3 do. But yeah, I didn't even think about that until just now. But Tanner Holmes, it's really no surprise. The kids love Tanner Holmes. He started his channel when he was a kid, and kids have followed him all the way up through the ranks to where he is at right now. Sure, he doesn't have all of the accolades that some of these other drivers on the board have, but he has done an incredible job getting himself out there to the public and helping bring new fans into the sport by explaining different things, whether it's on his Facebook posts, whether it's from his YouTube channel, whatever. Tanner Holmes, believe it or not, I think is a great thing for the sport, which many people online seem to not think that that is the case. Just because he doesn't win every single race, they think he's bad. I don't know what's going on there. But Tanner Holmes, friend of mine, fan of him, 3rd place on the board. No shock there. He does a great job promoting himself. 214,000 followers for Tanner Holmes. Now up to 2nd on the board. And that is where you're going to find the defending World of Outlaws champion, current series point leader, David Gravel, at 238,000 followers. He has 48,000 on Twitter, 120,000 on Facebook, and 70,000 on Instagram. I don't know how many he's got on YouTube, 20,000 subscribers maybe. But David Gravel, number 2 on the board. Obviously, he drives car number 2, but David Gravel, Outlaw champion now. He ran a little bit of NASCAR races. He's won the Kings Royal. He's won all 3. He's won the Triple Crown. He's won Williams Grove. He's won Knoxville, and he's won the Kings Royal. And all these years on the Outlaw Tour, 10 plus years on the Outlaw Tour, so many different car owners and whatnot. That all those things combined, I think, have made him get up there. And he has been really pushing his social media over the last 2 or 3 years. And certainly it is helping right now as Facebook, 120,000 followers for David Gravel over there on that platform. And number 1, we already know who number 1 is. And it's clearly undisputable, almost double the next closest guy at 505,000 followers across those 3 platforms. And that is going to be Rico Abreu. Rico with 88,000 Twitter followers, a staggering 287,000 Facebook followers, and 130,000 on Instagram. Rico Abreu, undeniably the most popular driver when it comes to looking at the numbers here on the board. I would say he's the most popular driver in sprint cars. I mean, when Kyle Larson shows up, of course, he's more popular. But Rico, when it comes to the other names on the board, it's hard to deny that he would not be the most popular if you put all these guys in a lineup and, I like him and I like him, but that guy's my favorite. Rico Abreu does an incredible job with his marketing. This year, he hired Toby Bell-Bowen from Sprint Car Hub to do all of his YouTube videos, and all of that he's been doing, I think, has boosted these numbers incredibly high. Also, all of the wins that he's been able to acquire over the last couple of years, him joining High Limit, being on a tour, going all over the place, incredible merchandise. The Chili Bowl Nationals wins. He's ran some NASCAR stuff as well. So a little bit like Brad Sweet, he has cast his net pretty wide for different fans. USAC, of course, as well. And so for Rico, no shock. It is shocking to see how much farther ahead he is than the 2nd place guy. But other than that, no surprise at all to see Rico topping the charts here in this video. So let me know your thoughts. Who is the biggest surprise to you on the board? Who is the biggest surprise to you not on the board? I would love to hear all of your thoughts and more in the comment section below. Make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and I will be back here on Monday for another episode on the Rodman Rundown, heading to Lernerville tomorrow morning for the Commonwealth Clash with High Limit Racing. Hope to see you there. If not, make sure to watch on Flow Racing. We will have Tyler Courtney, 9th most popular driver in sprint car racing, will be on the broadcast with me for the rest of the season on Flow Racing. So hopefully you will tune in. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll talk to you again soon.